lots of people have said, be where your audience is, but it's not like specific enough and helpful enough for, junior marketers or people who are local and have small businesses themselves to really understand what that means for them. So it's finding the balance of exactly, depending on the type of business that you are, where people would find information relating to your business. Not everyone necessarily has to be on every single channel, or, it only needs to be a certain specific type where you're actually going to find people that are interested in your services.
Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to your show, E-Coffee with Experts. This is your host, Ranmay here. And today we have Celeste Gonzalez, who is the director of RooLabs at Ricketyroo. Hey, Celeste, how's it going?
It's going pretty well. Thank you for having me today.
Lovely. Celeste, before we move any forward, why don't you talk us through your journey a bit? How it all started? How is it going? How come you landed up in the digital marketing SEO space? And also a bit about your agency. What do you guys do? What are your core offerings? And we'll take it off from there.
Okay. Ooh, I got a lot to share then.
Yeah. Good time.
So I started out blogging. I actually had my own website where I was sharing about all things student life. I was in college at the time. It was my entire life. So I was like, I have to write about something that I know about. And since I live and breathe school, I figured that was just the best way to get started. I started the website because I did a marketing internship and I learned about SEO. I thought it was amazing. So I was like, well, I need to get some experience based on what I learned. So I figured a blog was the right way to go. I joined the SEO community, and I say that like loosely because it was on Twitter. There were just tons of people who were SEOs themselves who were on there sharing their findings all the time. And, just contributing to different conversations around SEO, PR, things like that. So I started following everyone I could, chiming in wherever I had experience or anything I had to add to what they would say. I built up a little bit of a following, and with my website, I was able to leverage that as my sort of experience and showing people what I could do. So I was able to get some freelance work. Soon after that, I'd say maybe year and a half, I reached out to the company that I'm with, Ricketyroo. They'd posted a job listing and I saw it on Twitter. I reached out. I knew I did not fit the description of what they were looking for. I knew I was still a little too junior, but I was just like, hi, just in case you are considering any sort of junior hires. I just wanted to like throw my hat in the ring. And I was able to get an interview with Blake Denman, the owner and founder of Ricketyroo. And he hired me a week later. He created a junior position for me. So yeah, that's kind of where it all started. I can speak to like what Ricketyroo does. So we are mainly a local SEO agency. We do have e-commerce clients. Now I am the director of RooLabs, which is our way of saying SEO testing. I have a big focus on search experience optimization at Ricketyroo and blending the core principles of SEO and UX together to create the best of both worlds for our users.
Lovely, lovely. Quite a journey. And this is so good, right? For an agency, for any business to not have a position and you see a good candidate, right? And to create a position, right? And then it is, it would have been such a good experience for you as well, in the sense that you'd have felt so important in the overall scheme of things, right? You would have been on kind of hitting the ground from day one, right? Ensuring
Mhm.
that you are kind of contributing, kind of delivering.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, especially just starting out in an agency, it was definitely like hit the ground running. Like, here you go. You're getting thrown into it. And I'm very fortunate for my coworkers, like Melissa Pop, who she immediately took me in. She's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And yeah, I couldn't be more grateful for everyone that I work with.
Lovely, lovely. Now, moving on, you have contributed quite a few articles, and you have been quite active on Search Engine Land and other platforms, right? So, I would like to understand your approach to balancing traditional SEO fundamentals with the new AI powered strategies, right, to ensure
Mhm.
consistent outcomes.
So I'd say number one, it's about staying educated and on top of, where things are going and how things work. There are people who are way smarter than me who are leading the conversation on these things, like Brittany Muller. She's an AI expert I follow. everything that she posts on this. How I approach this in terms of strategy for clients and what things are going on. First of all, communication with them and, giving them the heads up on what's happening in search is very important, and being transparent that
Yeah.
we don't have all the answers right now. We don't have all the data and information. Brittany just posted this week about the difference between LLMs and search engines. LLMs are not search engines, and we can't really reverse engineer it because they don't work in the same way. So, part of the advice that she gives, and it's the same advice I, give my clients or what I tell them, is just having solid, foundation and SEO is going to get you far enough. It's going to get you there right now. Could things change in the future? Of course, we're still at the infancy with everything, but good SEO is good GEO or AEO, whatever
Yeah, yeah.
acronym people are using at this point.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100% on that one, right? I mean, if you go to
Mhm.
buy a car, let's say, you have to go to search engine, and then, go to the website to make that purchase, right? So I'm with you on that one. You do a lot of testing, test yourself,
Mhm.
right? And that is what, you know, is your day-to-day thing. So you'd actually come across a lot of businesses and their strategies. So what do you think are some of the common mistakes that businesses do when it comes to their local SEO strategy?
Well, I'd say so at the same time, like I'm not anti AI, people we've got to use it at this point. You need to start to figure out how to use it as a tool. One thing that companies are doing is using it for like mass content creation at
Yeah.
scale without considering, human editing, unique content across different local SEO is your different location pages, your GBPs with your descriptions, not using it in a proper way to actually have unique descriptions and unique location pages, and instead using AI to just be like, boom, I wrote 100 pages. Now I'm just going to publish this. And unfortunately, it's not much human editing and, more attention to detail and an understanding that yes, these tools exist and they can definitely help you, but there's an understanding on the value of content at this point because ChatGPT has made it so easy to just, create.
Absolutely, absolutely. And talking about tools, which is your favorite AI tool that you're like using day in, day out these days?
Well, I use ChatGPT all the time. I also use Cursor. So, I think it's really great to be able to. So, like, I'm not a coder at all. Like, I don't have a code background. I am a vibe coder now, thanks to this technology. And with Cursor and ChatGPT, like, I'm able to generate Python scripts to help me go through and clean up and process data a lot more quickly. So, those are my two favorites right now.
It's nice. And talking about local SEO, I mean, Celeste, your local SEO course at Wix has actually helped countless, businesses optimize their search presence. So, what is that one principle which you feel is, quite important, which most marketers get wrong while approaching local SEO?
So I'd say, with the course, you can't include absolutely everything there is to know
Yeah,
about local
obviously, yeah.
SEO in just some hours. So I would say just that those that are working in local SEO specifically, that something that they're getting wrong would be understanding the audience channels a little bit better. Lots of people have said, be where your audience is, but it's not like specific enough and helpful enough for junior marketers or people who are local and have small businesses themselves to really understand what that means for them. And, you can have local businesses go two different ways. You can have them, if they're a smaller business, they're like, well, I don't need to be on all these channels because I have word of mouth marketing. People already know me in my area. Why would I explore all these other channels? And you have the other end of the coin where it's like, oh my gosh, I need to be everywhere. So then they're on every single platform and you're not doing them all well because you're doing way too much at once. So it's finding the balance of exactly, depending on the type of business that you are, where people would find information relating to your business. Is that TikTok? Is that Pinterest? If it's a more visual type business like food, let's say. But, not everyone necessarily has to be on every single channel or It only needs to be a certain specific type where you're actually going to find people that are interested in your services.
Lovely. And Celeste, outside of work, even during our conversation today before the podcast, right? And I mean, on LinkedIn as well, you have been very public with your learning journey, right? So, how does learning in public influence how you approach new SEO experiments or digital marketing strategies at large?
I think it really helps keep me honest by sharing, the wins, sharing the losses, sharing the I don't knows, because, you can't know everything. And it's great to just share what your experiences are. Doesn't necessarily mean everything that you share is the end all be all, but it's helpful because you get to connect with others in the community or others you don't even know that are probably going through the same thing. You share a test, didn't have great results. Someone else is like, actually, I had the same results as you. It also didn't work for me. Or someone can comment and try to be like, actually, I don't agree with what you're saying. This is what I'm seeing on my side or my industry or anything like that. You're opening up conversations and discussions, and you're able to see other perspectives. And depending on if you take the conversations outside, you get to talk to other people, you could even see the data that they're working with as well and like see what they're actually working with.
And then, now you have started speaking on international stages, right? And in fact, this podcast as well, right? So, how do you feel it, kind of helps with your personal branding? And how important is it that you feel, one should start doing as early as you have in your career?
I mean, I will say that it's not for everyone. You don't have to be all the way out there if you don't want to be. I think it's important to at least be involved on some level in the SEO community, whether that is
Yeah,
just
yeah.
making connections on LinkedIn and reading whatever content you see out there. Being exposed to the information, that's great, whether it is LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Twitter, or going to conferences, listening to podcasts. The exposure is number one. And, for people who do want to share and speak, yeah, personal branding. I mean, I'm still learning, I'm still working on it. Working with businesses and working on their stuff, it's completely different from just like working on yourself. It's like, how am I a brand? I'm a person or I'm me. Like, I don't know. So I just with like the learning in public stuff, personal branding, I'm learning as well. So yeah, I recently did a little like personal rebrand on my website, on my socials. It's just a little joke title that I gave myself on TikTok and I ended up just applying it everywhere. So it's your favorite SEO or your fave SEO. So that's what I'm going with right now. But it can change. Personal branding, can get updated.
Lovely, Celeste. This has been a great conversation. But before we let you go, I would like to play a quick rapid fire. All right? Game for it?
Okay, let's go.
Your last Google search.
Ooh, sugar-free coffee options.
Right, that's an honest one. Your celebrity crush.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay. What did you do with the first paycheck, Celeste? First paycheck of your life.
Oh my gosh. Clothes shopping.
All right. If you were to go back and change that one thing in your professional career so far, what would that be?
That's so hard to
Yeah.
say.
Think
I
so.
would say maybe focusing a little more on client communications earlier on, learning and picking that up from my coworkers before I actually started working with clients like face to face.
All right. All right. The last one will not grill you any further, Celeste. So, where do we find you on Friday evenings after office or after work?
Watching something new on Netflix or Hulu.
All right. All right. Perfect, Celeste. Thank you so much for taking out time to do this with us. Really appreciate it. And for audiences, if they want to reach out to you, how would they do that?
On LinkedIn, you can find me. You can just search Celeste Gonzalez or the URL is Celeste Lily, Lili. And then TikTok, Blue Sky, Twitter, it's your favorite SEO.
All right. Thank you so much, Celeste. Cheers.
Thank you.